What's happening, everybody? So I've had quite a few questions about the setup on my Hellcat as far as, well, how much weight reduction have I done to it? Is it running the catalytic converters? Which it is. Is it still running the sway bar? Yes, it is. And it's connected. Anyway, long story short, got touched up with some questions about the car, especially after running the 1008 last night. So this is literally the day after the night that I ran the 1008. So what I wanted to do is walk you guys around the car so you can see the setup on the car, and hopefully that answers some questions for you guys. I'm going to try to do this all in one take. I'm not going to do any pause editing with this because this is going to be kind of like clumsy anyway, so just bear with me, okay? But anyway, starting at the front of the car, JLT, you guys know about that, stock pulley. Am running the TBA machine idler pulleys mainly because the stock ones look like they were dredged out of the lake. But there you go. Nothing crazy to see up here. Let's go underneath the car. I can do this. Hopefully everything stays somewhat recognizable. So I kind of got everything up and running here for you guys. And again, I apologize for this being kind of clumsy, but there's really no sophisticated way to do this. So you're basically doing this with me in real time. So, as you guys can see, if you can see, stock pulley lower. And yes, this sway bar is hooked up. There it is. Right here. And yes, the end links. Everything is attached. Right here. Goes up to the shock. This has been kind of a weird one for me because guys have asked me, well, number one, do I have the sway bar removed? No, I don't. That's about 25 pounds. The other one, the question that I found kind of curious is it still hooked up? Well, if the car is dead hooking with it installed, there would be absolutely no reason to remove this thing to allow for more suspension travel or whatnot. So anyway, the short answer to that is yes, there's the sway bar and it is absolutely hooked up. Now, moving a little bit further back, let me try to do it like this. Yes, I'm running the factory catalytic converters. Yes, they are still functional. If they weren't functional, this car would be crazy loud. But we just didn't ever see any gain with the removal of the cats. So no reason to take them off the car. Keep it mean, keep it green. So that's the underpinnings of this thing. You swoop back around here and go over a couple of other things. All right, so that might be upside down. Okay. Like I said, I'm doing this in real time. It's like you guys are here with me. I'm not going to edit or chop this up. Next thing I'm sure somebody's going to say is, well, you edited something out. So anyway, one of the other questions was, does it have the windshield wipers and the windshield wiper motor? Well, there's the windshield wipers. I guess the question is, are they hooked up? This is some nutty stuff, man, I swear. So, are they hooked up? Let me get this thing mounted real quick. This is like Blair Witch Project. So, okay, here we go. Are they hooked up? Yeah, we got windshield wipers, so no weight reduction there. And what about windows? We got windows. And yes, we got windows over there too. Now, if the question is, well, why did you remove the passenger seat? Well, here's a couple of things to consider. There's that Mopar rear seat delete back there too. Looks clean. The reason why, and the configuration that I run the car in, is basically what anybody would consider to be an as-delivered 1320 one-seat car or a Demon one-seat car. Same type of a configuration. That also seems to be the accepted way to have the car going down the track if you're actually gunning for a number. Some will say, well, what about full interior? What about all that? That's legit too, but the main thing we're looking at is the number itself. So let's get back to the outside of the car. I just wanted to show you guys that. That's one of the questions that came up, and I'd never honestly even thought about it, but I do know that you guys know I've talked about the window motors and the door cards and things like that. So yeah, it's got windows or window motors, and yeah, it's got windshield wipers. But I know some folks have deleted that. Oh, what about brakes? Yes, still running the factory Hellcat brakes. They are not lightweight brakes. They are not Scat Pack brakes or anything else like that. They're still Hellcat brakes front and Hellcat brakes in the rear. You might go, oh, they're not red. Why don't they say Brembo? They don't say Brembo, and they're not red anymore because they were turning pink, so I painted them. Not to mention, when you have a red line red car in an off-red caliper, it looks to clash anyway. So yeah, I painted them. It looks a lot better that way. So, gone over all of that. Again, engine compartment, so you guys can see this. But hopefully that answers some questions for you guys. I just want to put out there, again, the rule that I follow is more or less as delivered. Now, you might say, well, yeah, but what about wheels and tires? Look, everybody running these cars at the drag strip will tell you, if you don't run some type of a wheel and tire combination on a Hellcat for sure, because they come with the all seasons, that's not going to end well. It's just obviously not going to work. Everybody, again, that's running for a number, especially, well, with Red Eye, none of those guys are running factory Red Eye wheel and tire setups. They're all running either some kind of a big little combination, and most of them are spending good money on ultra lightweight wheels. These are just, you know, run-of-the-mill D5s. So, you know, again, I consider these to be consumable, and again, given the setup of the car with everything basically being as delivered, there's no reason to consider something like that wheel and tire setup as something that should be out of the ordinary. You're drag racing the car, put drag racing wheels and tires on there. But I think that pretty much wraps it up. I hope it does anyway. Oh, and the gear. So this car is basically what I would consider to be a parts bin car. I've got what is in essence a Red Eye rear seat delete. Obviously the passenger seat's out, but I've got the new wing, the performance wing on the back of it. But if you wanted to know what gear is in it or what rear end is in it, this is basically, we get this thing to where it'll show it, that would be it. Again, it's a parts bin deal. This is the old 309. I recently just freshened up the car and got it a new rear diff. But there it is. There's the part numbers if you ever needed to buy one. It's just a Scat Pack rear end. So again, messing this up. A bunch of Mopar parts on a Mopar. Imagine that. So anyway, I wanted to show you guys that. Hopefully answer some questions. If you got any questions about the setup, let me know. Oh, suspension, rear suspension. Car's up on the ramp, can't really, it's stock. So there's really, I guess I got to show you that too, before somebody says, I'm running some other kind of suspension on it. Okay. So here you go. Yes. Hopefully this will show. Stock. Is that showing up? Now this is some real fine viewing here. But, yep, all stock stuff. And a reso delete because I hated the look of the resonators on this car. So, Anyway, that's the setup in a nutshell. Factory rear suspension, drag pack wheel and tire setup, stock pulley, 93 octane gasoline, no passenger seat, Mopar rear seat delete, and a Scat Pack rear end with stock Hellcat axles. Oh yeah, and a red-eye drive shaft. Thank you very much, my good friend, Multiple Mopars, for that. But again, if you got any questions, hit me up. Let me know if I didn't answer a question or you want to... Oh, I keep forgetting stuff. Okay, so this is something I can't show you. But yes, factory bumper supports. One of the funny things is that a lot of guys got into the idea that, you know, I'm lightweight and I'm trying to cheat or something like that. I'm far too lazy to start pulling this car apart and put lightweight bumper supports all the way around it. It does have a lightweight Archangel battery in the car. Did a review on that battery, and again, battery, kind of a consumable part, saved about 20 pounds with that battery, but it's not one of the itty bitty Braille batteries. It's a full chassis battery. And let's see, what else? Oh, getting back to the bumper supports, one of the main reasons why I didn't do it, number one, I'm too lazy to do it. Two, it in total saves you about 40 pounds. 20 of that's coming off the front of the car, 20 off the back, roughly, you know, give or take. That's not how the cars were delivered. That's not an as-delivered configuration. So because it's not an as-delivered configuration, I didn't change them out. The exact same reason why I didn't swap out the sway bar. I've gone into detail a little bit more about my thoughts on that level of weight reduction, which in the grand scheme of things is minor, getting into, but it leads to, I should say, windshield motor removal, windshield wipers being gone, door cards, and you can just kind of see where that's going. It's a slippery slope. So I wanted to impose a certain set of rules for me. And again, it was more or less an as-delivered type of a configuration, just a parts bin car with a tune that I put on it with so many revisions that I've deleted probably half of them, especially a lot of the early ones. And I've still got probably somewhere around 80 or 90 revisions, most of them minute transmission tune revisions to the car. The tune itself, I can't be very aggressive with because I'm running 93 octane gasoline, which I know blows a lot of people's mind. Like, why don't you tune it for butane, or why don't you put race gas in it at E85? Because the goal was to try to run a number on 93 octane gasoline with the tune that is in the car being the tune that I go on road trips with the thing. So that's why. And believe me, if I wanted to put a pulley on it and tune it on E85, that would have been done a long time ago, and it would have been a whole lot easier, believe me. So it's been a lot of very fine tuning and a lot of self-control. You cannot get greedy with 93 octane. So to kind of give you guys a quick rundown, last night density altitude was crazy low. That does not always do you favors, especially if you're running a stock tune and you're running 93 octane gasoline, because the timing table, I can't be aggressive with it, and the further down on that table I get, the less timing the car is going to command. It's going to command less timing because it's a higher air charge. Keeping things safe on 93 octane when you're making that kind of power and when you're running in those types of conditions, it's tough. So I put a tune together where I'm not walking a fine line. It's very safe. And the car went out there and ran an 08. So with a string of 15s, 112.0, 10.12.0, and I think I started off the night with a 10.18. I tried to stall a little bit harder, I think, on that first one than I should have. But here you go. That's the setup. Hopefully that answers some questions for you. If I didn't answer a question, post it up in the comments. Let me know what I missed. That's a wrap. Adios.